how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I am continuing on my color series where I'm going to be sharing my favorite products in a specific color category. I did a few videos like this a few years ago, and I decided recently to revamp it and kind of redo some of those older ones and kind of continue on with the other colors as well. And so far I've done black and gray as one video together because I didn't have enough to do them as separate. And I thought I was gonna do like browns next, but I decided I'm just really not in a mood to talk about brown right now. So we are jumping right into red, and I'm really excited. I actually didn't think I would have too many like favorites, but I actually have a good amount of things that I feel like are just really solid red products that I'm excited to share with you. I have a mixture of blush, eyeliners, eyeshadows, both singles and things in palettes, and I have lip products as well. I can't promise everything that I talk about in these videos will be available. Some of these might be discontinued and I just still happen to own them, but I feel like that's fine. This might just be a way to inspire you to go through your collection and maybe play with some things you haven't thought about in a while. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect red thing, and maybe I'll be able to share that with you today. I'm not talking about every single red thing in my collection completely. I'm mostly just trying to focus on the things that I consider to be favorites, things that I would gravitate towards if I'm looking for a specific like product in that color category, and I love the roundup I have for you today. Before we get into my favorite red makeup, I did of course film this look, obviously inspired by the video theme. It should already be up on my Instagram and TikTok by the time this video goes up, and I'm sure it'll go on YouTube Shorts eventually. And as far as my accessories today, I don't know where this choker's from, but these super cute red rum earrings are from Spooky Doodle Club on Etsy, and these plugs are from Love Kills Boutique. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and chat about some red makeup. Let's just go in the order that I do my makeup, and we're gonna start it off with blush. I have 5 to talk about today. I didn't realize I had so many that are awesome, but I do. And I love red blush. I'm actually wearing one today. With red blush, it doesn't have to be scary. Like, you can do something really dark and intense, obviously, but even if you're a ghost like I am, you can use a lighter hand and just get like a little kiss of redness without it necessarily being super bold. But I do like a bold red blush on the occasion as well. So let me talk about my favorites. I have 2 creams, first being one that I'm pretty sure is not available anymore, but it is one of my favorites. It's the Winona Forever Blush Stick from Colourpop. It's so good. That beautiful like grungy red, it is so pretty. I love that kind of bricky undertone. Oh, it's just such a good one. I wish that this one was still available. So if you already have this one, I encourage you to pull it out and use it sometime. Next is the one I'm actually wearing today. It's Daydreamer from Melt. It's a really pretty shimmery like red. I have fake freckles on my fingers from doing my makeup earlier, but it has little shimmers in it, and it is just so beautiful. A really pretty kind of burnt, almost bricky red. It's just so stunning. And again, you can use kind of a lighter hand and have a little more of a muted red, or you could go really ham and pile it on and it would be so pretty. I also love red on deeper skin tones. I think it is just so incredibly beautiful on you. And now I have 3 powders, one of them being in a palette, 2 being singles. The first single, I believe this is called Sanguine by Kaleidos. I might be misremembering that, but they will all be linked down below if I can, if they're still available. But this is such a beautiful red, my goodness. Right there in the middle, very punchy, just super true, delicious red. It's like almost a little rosy. It is so cute. Also this one called Violet from KVD Beauty. It's called Violet because of the character, obviously, not because of the color. But this is a really pretty fiery, almost orangey red. Like, it's orangey in comparison to the other ones, but it's still a red. I don't consider this an orange blush by any means. It's very much a hot, fiery, warm red. It is so good. I think this is gonna be like a summer staple for me. I can feel it now. And the last blush is from the Clown Blush palette from Likely Makeup. The shade Circus is just insane. It is so pigmented, it's crazy. This one almost looks a little pinky purpley compared to like the fiery one right next to it, but it is such a rich, brilliant, amazing red. The pigment stretches so far, a little bit goes such a long way. That one in particular also makes a really good eyeshadow. I haven't tested the other ones as eyeshadows, but I have used this Clown Blush palette as eyeshadow before, and it is pigment central. It is absolutely amazing. Moving on now, I don't really have any highlighters to talk about just because, especially on my pale skin, any of the highlighters I have that might have a slight almost red shift. It really is pink. Like a red highlighter is just not really gonna be a thing for me personally. So we're gonna scoot on into eyeshadows, and I think I'll talk about the palettes first that have just really standout reds. Again, I'm not talking about every red eyeshadow in every palette that I own. These are just the ones that I feel like came to mind first when I was deciding which reds to talk about in this video. First immediate thing that came to my mind was the Christmas Morning palette from Give Me Glow, and these might actually be available as singles because I know they do that sometimes. But obviously the two reds in here are just perfect stocking stuffers. This is an amazing metallic, and Cozy Fire, such a good red. Look how metallic and rich that is. It's just insane. That was just like one quick swipe. I mean, same with that. Like the pigment is just crazy. It speaks for itself. These are just killer reds. Absolutely the first ones in palette specifically that came to mind. They are so good. Next in the Sugarpill Fun Size palette, I love the shade Game Over. It is such a good, again, kind of fiery, hotter, warmer red. Again, it's almost gonna look orangey in comparison, but I don't really consider that to be an orange. It's definitely like a very warm, hot red to me. And it is just such a show-stopping shade. It blends so beautifully on the eyes. It is such an amazing red. Honestly, it's such an amazing palette. It's such a good kind of, you can play with them as pastels, or you can build them up to be very vibrant and not really neon, but just insanely bright and saturated. So, so cool. Next up, in the unfortunately discontinued Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay, there are some awesome reds in here at the bottom. They are so, so good. Poppy, Raw, and Heat. They are really, really good reds. This was such a good palette. I'm so sad that they just never brought it back. They're right there, those three. They are so, so good. If you have this palette, I encourage you to use these reds because they are absolutely amazing. So pigmented, so blendable. I feel like with red eyeshadow specifically, especially when it comes to mattes, it can be really hard to find reds that aren't super chalky. I feel like especially back in the day, it was impossible to find a red that was not like chalky and hard to work with. Reds have gotten so much better nowadays, and these are just so good. I love. And I don't reach for red eyeshadow that often. I don't have any problems with red. It's not my go-to color right now, but if I were, these are some of the ones I'd pick. And last are some of the ones from my Blend Bunny palettes. First being the Primal palette. Lethal, Huntress, and Potent are amazing. Lethal's almost a little bit more of a burgundy. It's scooting along that line, but I feel like it's red enough that I'm more incorporating it in this video because I would use it more in the purpose of using it as a red to like deepen things out and smoke them out. They're right there at the top, but they are just insane. I just love this variety of red. It's so funny how like putting different tones of things next to each other can totally like alter what they look like. Like this looks like pure orange next to some of these others, but by itself it is definitely a red. And like this one I feel like looks almost purpley by itself, but next to the other ones I can see that red coming through. Oh, it's so pretty. And also in the Blend Bunny Blends palette, the iconic rainbow palette, we have Vexed and Self Love. Again, just really killer reds. They are so saturated, so pigmented. Blend Bunny does their mattes so well. They're right there at the top. They're so vibrant and amazing, and I love them. They're just so, so good. The Surge palette also has really good reds, but when I was being honest with myself, like the Surge palette I reach for different things, not so much the reds. Like if I'm gonna use reds, like the other two are kind of the ones that I would reach for first over the Surge. But don't get me wrong, the Surge also has amazing reds also. I think I'll try to just keep this going and not wipe this off while we move into singles. I have the Sugarpill Love Plus Shadow. What an iconic red. Like this was one of the first good reds I feel like that came out. It's so good. It's such a good, just true, amazing, perfect red matte. It is so incredible. I was also really impressed with this single that came out from Game Beauty. It's this duochrome in the shade Captain Kid. I'm already getting a little bit of pan on it. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of shadow in these, but a little goes a long way. This one, again, it's almost skirting the line of not counting, especially because it has that brilliant shift through it, but it's almost like a beautiful like burgundy wine red, and then it shifts into this like greenish gold. It is so unique and so cool, but I do consider this to be more in the red family, and it's a really standout shadow, so I wanted to talk about it. And then I have some other red singles to talk about. First being Leon from Oden's Eye. This is one of their new multi-chrome singles. It's just, oh my gosh, it is such a fantastic red. I did a look with this, I don't know, a little while ago on my Instagram. It's right there. It's almost hard to capture the shift, but it goes from like a vibrant red into a dark red into like a black. and it is magical. It looks so sultry on the eyes. I just love it. It's such a showstopper. Next is this one called Tropical from Glaminatrix. I've had this one kicking around for quite a while, but it really is such a fantastic red. I've used it multiple times in my days. It's right here. It's a little bit more of a warmer, brighter red, but it's still a beautiful red shimmer nonetheless. This one is an iconic one. World Eater from Shroud. This was like the first red shimmer that I ever even owned or appreciated, but it's just such a good, rich red metallic. It's so pretty. I still love this one. It feels like just such a time capsule to hold and use that one because I loved this and I still love it. Next is Bonfire from Terra Moons. This is another duochrome that's, again, kind of skirting along the lines of like, is it red? But for me, I would use this one more in a red sense. I feel like it goes from like a really pretty, like, more burgundy red into that fiery kind of shade. I don't know. I would use this one more in conjunction with reds than any other color on the rainbow, so I wanted to include this one. It's such a beautiful shade. And last but not least, I think this one got discontinued. I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope I can link it down below because this is so cool. This is the closest thing that I would have to like a red highlighty shade, and I would even use this on my face. But it's Red Giant from Terra Moons. It is translucent into the most brilliant, almost red shift. Really, it's probably more pink than anything, but I feel like compared to some of the other like pinky shifty things, this one does just capture that red energy a little bit more. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to like really capture it on camera. Let me put it on like my palm. Maybe my palm can like show it off a little bit easier. But it kind of has just this really, you see that red right there? You see that red? It kind of goes through. It's so pretty. Again, this one's skirting the line. Like, you could possibly just consider this more of a pink, but for me, Red Giant has just that soft flash of red into translucent with a little bit of pink mixed in too, but it's just too good. Moving on now into liners, I have a mixture of liquids, water activateds, pencils, so let's do it. First being water activated, I'm wearing one today. These are both from Gavissi Beauty. These are amazing water activated liners. You just mix a little bit of water in, get a nice creamy consistency, not too drippy, but not too dry. And they're just wonderful and they stay put all day and they just break down with water. They're so easy. Do take a little bit of a learning curve to kind of figure them out, but once you figure them out, they're the easiest thing. But this one is Pop Star. It's the one I'm wearing right now. I'm not gonna swatch these just because it's so messy to swatch just for this, but they look exactly like they look in the pan. And like I said, I'm wearing it right now. It's just such a brilliant red. It's so cool. And then Sugary Apple is metallic. It is such a pretty shiny red. It is so cool. I feel like this one's very holiday vibes, but it is amazing. Moving on into liquids now. I just started using this one recently. It's from AF94. It's About Face's more affordable brand. This one's in the shade King Crimson. It is so good. It's like a metallic burgundy red. It's so pretty and so smooth. It glides onto the lid so nicely and it stays put really well as well. I also have this one from Unearthly called Searing. It's one of their like special duochromy shifty magical liners. And again, because it has a shift to it, it's not like just a true red. It definitely has some other kinds of colors going on. Trying to build up a good swatch for you so you can see. But again, because this one has a shift to it, it's not like a true red because there's other colors kind of going on. But it does have just that really pretty, brilliant red into almost a greeny gold. It's hard to explain, but it's really, really cool. And I really like those liners. And then two pencils, this one being Sistas from the original Colourpop Hocus Pocus collab. I believe this is long since discontinued, but it is absolutely my favorite red. It is such a good metallic red eye pencil. It's so creamy. I use this all the time. I'm gonna be devastated when I run out of this. And also this one called Solaris from Kaleidos. This is one of their multi-chrome pencils. So again, it's not a true red because it has multiple colors going on, but the primary shade there is definitely red and it has that beautiful green gold kind of shift. These are so creamy and these stay put all day. Like, it's gonna be hard to scrub that off in a second when I wipe off the swatches. Moving on finally into lip products, I have 2 pencils and then 10 like lipsticks. I have one kind of glossy one traditional lipstick, and then everything else is liquid. But let's do the pencils first. If I want more of like a, not necessarily darker, but more of a muted red, so to speak. It's definitely gonna be this one from Rare Beauty in the shade Bold. Bold is also a really pretty lipstick, but I couldn't really consider it an absolute favorite for this video, but the pencil I feel like I use fairly frequently. It also pairs really good with browns. And then this one isn't available anymore, I'm pretty sure, but it's the red pencil from the Like a Pro lip kit from Blend Bunny. I know that the liquid lipsticks are still available, but I don't think the pencils are, but it's truly my favorite red pencil of all time. It's so creamy and glidey. These pencils are just fantastic. I hope she brings these back soon, and hopefully with even more shades because they're insane. Let's go over the glossy-ish one first. It's the Oden's Eye Cream Lip Stain in Poppy Girl. Now, it is a very, very rare day if I'm wearing a glossy red, because it's just asking for a mess, honestly. But on the days that I'm in the mood for it, Poppy Girl is the one to go for. It's so pretty. And what's nice about these cream lip stains is even when like the glossiness of it wears off throughout the day, there's still a really pretty stain left behind, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. Now for the regular lipstick, I can't talk about wonderful reds without talking about this. It's from Sugarpill in the shade Petrol. It is just an amazing, sparkly bullet lipstick. It is such a good red. It's so pigmented. It stays put all day. That sparkle is just gorgeous. Again, this is like peak holiday vibes. It is so, so pretty. And now getting into liquids. I have so many to talk about. Let's go over this one first. It's Plath from KVD Beauty. I don't think this is a shade that exists anymore, but it is one of my favorites. This one's more of a grungy, bricky red. Like it almost looks brown in comparison, and it definitely does have like brown vibes, but I feel like it has enough of that bricky redness that I would have rather include it in this video than like a brown video, because to me this isn't like a true brown, but it is such a good grungy shade. Going back to Blend Bunny, the Like a Pro liquid lipstick that matches that lip pencil. Oh, it's just so good. This is just such an amazing formula. It's pretty thin and so comfortable, and it stays put all day. It's not 100% matte and transfer proof like the way the KVD Beauty ones are. It has almost a slight bit of satininess to it, but it's so comfortable, and I don't find it slides around or moves around or anything like that. It just allows your lips to feel kind of comfy. And same with this next one. It's more of a satin finish rather than a matte, but again, it stays put all day. But it's the Unearthly Cosmetics one in the shade Marianne. This is such a pretty color. If you're looking for like a rich, deeper red, look no further. It is amazing. It's such a good shade. I love this particular shade of red on me. Even though I had a couple like warmer reds in like eyeshadow and blush form, when it comes to lips, more of a rosy, darker, vampy red is more my vibe than an orangey one. I just feel like it suits me a little bit better, and just it's in my comfort zone a little bit more, and that's a really good one. And then the last five are all from Kaleidos. They are all part of the lip clay formula. I don't know what to tell you. They just make some of my favorite reds of all time, and I'm excited to talk about them. This formula is amazing if you've never heard about it before. It goes on like a liquid, but then it dries down like a clay, and then it's very like powdery. Like clay almost feels like a bad word because that makes me think of like dryness, but these are like, I'm wearing one right now. It just feels like nothing. It feels like pillows on my lips. It's just soft and lightweight. It doesn't transfer or anything like that. It is phenomenal. Like one of my favorite lip formulas of all time. First is Bloodstone. Such a good, again, this is like on the cusp of being brown, and it definitely looks brown in comparison to all of these, but it has a little bit of that blackened red undertone. I feel like some people are gonna argue with me on that one, but again, for me, this is like dark, vampy, bricky, browny red vibes, and I would more consider this a red than I would a brown, and that's kind of the deciding factor between some of these. Like when I was deciding on this one, I was like, well, would I include this in a brown video? And I'm like, no, no, no. Brown's a different vibe for me, so this is a red. Next is Fiamma. If you're looking for a hot, bright, electric red, this is the one. Almost looks pinky in comparison, but it's definitely just a fiery, bright, amazing red. It is so good. Next is Rubino. This is just such a brilliant, kind of darker, grungy red. Again, not as dark as Bloodstone, but still really, really dark and deep and amazing, and I love it. Next is Smeared Rouge. It's almost the one I wore today, but it just wasn't quite the right match with my eyeliner. This one's just a really pretty, like almost ruby red. That was the worst swatch I could have ever done, but it's so pretty. It's rich and deep, but it's not necessarily dark. It's just so good. And then last but not least, the one I'm wearing right now is Dahlia. I mean, I don't have to swatch it, but I guess I will just so you can see them all together. But it's just a really good, just true red, you know? I feel like it's exactly what I need. It's the perfect mid-tone. It's not too cool, not too warm, not too dark, not too light. It looks like a rose petal and it's perfect. And I love these picks. I think these are fantastic reds. I'm obsessed with them. And I hope you've enjoyed me rattling on about red. I would love to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the things I talked about today? Are you in love with any of them as much as I am? What are your favorite red products in your collection? Do you ever wear red? Are you more of a warm red kind of person or a cool red? I would love to hear down below. If you think I forgot something, I don't think I forgot anything. I just might not have considered it like a favorite, if that makes sense. But I have so many beautiful things in my collection, and these ones are just specifically my favorite in this category. And I would love to know what your favorites are. Let me know if you're enjoying this series so far so I can continue. I'll probably just go in rainbow order from this point forward. So I'll be doing orange next. So let me know if you want to see it and I'll continue on. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you leave some red emojis? I don't even know why I had to think about it. Obviously leave a bunch of red down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me on my other socials. You can join the BATTYBEAN fam. I am BATTYBEAN on everything, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And if you want, you can subscribe. If you want to see more of my videos, I'm posting most days here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be covered in red for the next week. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a nightmare. I'm so pink. I'm so red right now. It's a look.